Okay, here we go. I want to talk about my Kawasaki G4TR Trail Boss. This is a 1970 100cc two-stroke. I got it from Craigslist. $1,700. Very original. Needs some work, but pretty darn good. It's my first bike, and I thought I'd make one of these videos because I've been just, really just laboring trying to find videos that showed the bikes I'm interested in, and sometimes people don't always show what you want them to, so I thought I'd make this video as thorough as possible and talk about the bike. So, Kawasaki Trail Boss G4TR 100cc. This is a 1970. Just want to go over what I know of the bike. Bought it in late April in Texas. $1,700. It's not a bad deal, I think. It's missing a tail light, which those are actually hard to find. I think I'll go over some of that in a minute. Yeah, I got the original title, which I'll probably show on the screen here in a second. Block out all the important stuff. It's from Oklahoma, Duke, Oklahoma. A guy that I'll call Mr. O. And I actually looked for the guy online, but I tried to get in touch with his family, but I couldn't. So I figured it'd be just as well to leave it alone. But I was really curious to what this bike has been through, and maybe the original owner would be interested in seeing what became of it. But yeah, it's got a little over 2,500 miles, 2512 on the odo there. Top speed on this is about 50 miles an hour. It's really pretty uncomfortable. Anything higher than that, probably don't want to go above 50, 55. Single mirror on the left side here. Got the clutch. Here you got the low beam, high beam, and the horn. Took out the horn, it didn't work anymore, and I gotta replace the bulbs, but it's a work in progress. Got the choke, front brake. There's a couple indicator bulbs here on the instrument cluster. This is the red line bulb, I believe. You're redlining. Your RPMs are too high, I think. Headlamp, which needs a bulb. A few scratches here on the front forks. This one in particular really bothers me, but what can you do? Front fender's in good shape. I think these bikes originally had a bit of a, I don't know what that thing is called, but it's a little metal plate that's attached right here, like that. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. I don't know too much about bikes, but the idea is to get this bike as original as possible, and that's the thing about this bike, is it's all original. Here we have the original tires. They're Yokohama 300 by 18. They're a little bit weathered and cracked, which, all things considered, the thing's still rideable. So for being 50-year-old tires and tubes, that's pretty damn good. Going here to the gas tank. Gas tank was relined, was a little bit rusted. Trying to get the light in there. Well, anyway. There is a dent on the gas tank, but not a bend or a, it's a very fixable dent. Looking to see the best way of fixing that is. And then the paint job itself, a little bit faded on top where the sun hits. There might have been something here before. Maybe it's just from gasoline spilling. But you know, I'd hate to paint over it. The seat, again, original and decent condition, just a little small crack here. You can replace the upholstery pretty easily. Just lift it up here. Got the battery. These things have a strap. It's supposed to be attached in some manner like this, but I'm not really sure where this thing attaches to. A little bit rusted too. This had a little notch at the end of it that I accidentally broke off trying to fix it. Yeah, you can take these pins, loosen up these pins, replace the upholstery. Got the battery. Battery's in good shape. It's brand new. The connections though, here, I replaced the fuse, but I'm having a really hard time getting into there. I gotta remove the oil tank and really dig around, but I don't think the connections work. I tried to buy a temporary headlamp, or tail light rather, and the connections weren't responding. So I think somewhere along the way, maybe the wires are stripped or the connections are corroded. So that's worth looking into. Here we've got the oil tank. It is an oil-injected 2-stroke engine. I used 2-stroke oil on it. The sticker here is faded. I wonder what it said. There's your oil. You can see that in there. Now these things do leak a little bit, but not enough to drain the oil. We got the little oil doohickey. I can't think of the name. It's quite fogged, but I don't think there's maybe a way to replace that. Now that we're down here, you got the petcock here. Turn on. Fuel line filter. Got the reserve. Got your air filter here. It's your kickstart. This is actually a little tool container. All these old Kawasaki's, they came with a set of tools, Kawasaki tools. You can actually find these online. They're not cheap. They're kind of collectible. Comes with a Kawasaki bag and a couple wrenches. A bit rusty in there, but fixable, I think. You want to keep these bikes covered if you're storing them. I think the previous owner had this bike indoors for a long time, but this is an old farm bike. Now this is where my knowledge really fades. Able to look at keep charge of the oil, keep tabs on the oil level here. Yeah, I don't know what these do. If you want to contribute in the comments, give me a heads up. I know that 2-stroke motors are pretty simple, but as I learn more and more about it, you learn how little you do know. So got the rear brake here. Brakes need new friction pads. These are drum brakes on each of the hubs. They work well enough for how old they are. The suspension too. The rear fender here. My ultimate goal is to polish every inch of this bike. You know, make it really glisten. Got these. Might need to redo the spokes here and there, but you know, the bike's in damn good shape. This beautiful exhaust with the metal heat plate is just real great to look at. Here we got the shifter lever. Looks like there's a little bit of a dent on the engine cover here on this plate. That makes me think that maybe the bike fell over and the shifter pedal dented it, which is not great. The transmission also on this bike around 4th gear is a little bit sticky, and these bikes like a high RPM, so I really got to get up there, maybe like 7,000-8,000 RPM, but it's a bit sticky. I got to get those clutch plates changed. Here we got the actual transmission, and a little bit of a leak here. And it has a high and a low setting. It's a 10 speed, 5 speed high, 5 speed low. You just switch this little lever here. Oh, other way. Yep, that's low gear. And here you got high. And kickstand. Got the spark plug here. Skid plate. And I think these things came with passenger pegs as well. They look exactly like this. They must have been removed pretty early on. I don't think the person that was writing this really felt they needed a passenger. And really, maybe it's not a great idea on this bike, but I really wish I had them. I forgot to mention the rack here. It's great. You might put your books, or your touring panniers there. Since I'm here, I'd figure I'd mention the rear tire. Same size tire, Yokohama 308 by 18. Bit of a crack there. The chain drive. Could use some cleaning. Yeah, as I learn more about the bike, you probably want to keep posting updates as I get around to cleaning the engine, replacing some parts, making this thing as good as new again. And I'm open to ideas or suggestions. And if you just want to give me a shout, talk about the bike, I'd love that too. How about we turn it on, eh? There's a little Kawasaki key. I have an identical one that's pretty much brand new and unused. I like how this one is kind of worn almost outside of its ring here. Anyway, put that in. That's a two smoke for you. So yeah, that's my 1970 Kawasaki Trail Boss G4TR, 2-stroke, 10-speed. I'll post a riding video once I get my GoPro battery replaced, and hopefully keep updating this video and maybe even bring in some new bikes. So yeah, if you have any comments or critiques, maybe I'm doing something wrong, please leave a comment down below.